Yes, so we will start the class.
जी आज मैं कर लूं इस
जरूर जी।
ओम सह नावतु ओम सह नो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति। ॐ दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः चित्वदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनम् ॐ मानसं तु किं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात् ॐ वृत्त्यस्त्वहं just 1 minute. ॐ मानसं तु किं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात् ॐ वृत्त्यस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रितः वृत्तयो मनो विद्वयहं मनः ॐ अहमयं कुतो भवति चिन्वतः ऐपत्यहं निजविचारणम् अहमी नाशभाज्यहं हत्या पूर्ति इत्स्वयं परं पूर्णसत् इत्थं पदामिच्य मन्दहम् अहमिलीनकेऽप्यल्य सत्तया विग्रहेन्द्रिय प्राणधीतमः नाहमेकसत्तजडं हयसतः सत्त्वभासिका चित्त्ववेतरा सत्या हि चित्तया ह्यहम् ईशजीवयोर्वश्य धीमिदः सत्स्वभावतो वस्तु केवलम् देवहानतः स्वात्मदर्शनम् ईशदर्शनं स्वात्मरूपतः आत्मसंस्थितिः स्वात्मदर्शनम् आत्मनिर्द्वयात् आत्मनिष्ठता ज्ञानवर्जिता अज्ञानहीनचित्त ज्ञानमस्ति किं ज्ञातुमन्तरम्।
Very good. Thank you.
नहीं सॉरी बीच बीच में थोड़ी गड़बड़ हो गई। थैंक यू।
So we are now entered that portion of almost the last steps, just before complete nishtha happens, just before Atma Gyan gets established. The whole path has been unfolded. One of the last steps is for a sincere student, for any student, for any seeker who wishes to know the truth, who wishes to know about life, wishes to know the truth of life, who wishes to know the nature of life, who wishes to know the origin of life, who wishes to know if life has a continuity, who wishes to know what happens on death. There are multiple ways in which, or there are so many questions that can become the springboard of one's beginning of the journey within oneself. There can be so many questions that can become a springboard for self growth and unfoldment of one's true nature. Anything that points to an absolute fact. An absolute fact means a fact which will never undergo a change, a fact which is going to be changeless. Anything that brings one closer to this fact. And what is the indication that one is becoming closer to the fact? The final step is Atma knows itself by itself. Svatmani avastha. It is a state of being in oneself. It is also the state of pure knowledge. It knows itself by itself. Therefore, whenever a person is arriving closer to one's nature, you somehow know it from within. Even if the world says elsewise, you yourself know that you are closer to the truth, maybe one step, maybe 1.0001 millimeter. It's of course not in the distance is not there at all, but you yourself know that you have grown. When I say grown, it obviously doesn't mean you have grown vertically or you have grown in any dimension. It's a growth where you have come closer to the truth. You have come closer to the absolute changeless nature. When you come closer to it, you know it. When you're also going away from it, you know it. That is why more people who are centered on senses and life around the sensory plane of existence, more you find them anxious and disturbed and agitated because they have moved as if away from their own nature. The more you establish a life around sensory plane of existence, what is the sensory plane of existence? Where the senses interact. This world, this jagat, is entirely sensory. This is my praman. Senses are my praman. Senses are the means with which I know that this object is there, this life form is there, these are the things in the world, this is what is happening in the world. Everything, knowledge that I gain about the world comes through my senses. That means the more I am adhered to my senses, adhered, जुड़ा हुआ, the more I have identified with the senses, the more ये जो इंद्रियां है हमारी, इन इंद्रियों के साथ हमने अपना अस्तित्व जोड़ा है. The more one does that, अपने अस्तित्व को इंद्रियों से जोड़ा है, more one is away, as if is important because there is no real distance between you and yourself. But you are bringing layers, adding layers of delay, I would say. Delay. Delay is the right word. You are delaying the process of knowing yourself. The more one is established in senses, जुड़ा हुआ है, more one knows from within, there is a higher mental disturbance, there is a higher feeling of insecurity, higher feeling of anxiousness. There is a high, all this becomes much more. What is the praman? Why are they more? Because you are trying to identify absolute happiness in something, a place where it is not. Senses and the world, आप इसमें अपना सुख ढूंढ रहे हो, अपनी पूर्णता ढूंढ रहे हो, और वो यहाँ है नहीं. तो who knows कि ये यहाँ नहीं है? Your own complete nature, which you are already in touch with otherwise, but not recognizing. Contrast of that is, you know that this is wrong. This is going away. The opposite of it is, the more one falls in lines of dharmas, the more one falls in line of what is to be done, the more one falls in line of purification, inner purification, the more one falls in line towards clarity, intellectual clarity, more one knows from within that you are coming closer. सत्य क्या है? उसका एक whiff. There is a whiff of knowledge. There is a knowingness that has come from within. This is right. This must be correct. There is a shanti which is one step deeper. That is what I mean by growth. Shastra has brought us now. Ramana has given us a whole roadmap. And he's come as close as saying, you are the closest to your own source, your own nature, to absolute truth, to pure being who you are. When are you closest? When you start the inquiry of inquiry. जब आप सोचना शुरू करते हैं, first step is, let us just watch the thoughts. Let us just be in a state of neutral observation, a neutral sakshi, just an observation. ये चल रहे हैं, आ रहे हैं, जा रहे हैं. अभी एकदम से वेग चढ़ता है, अभी एकदम से शांति आती है, अभी एकदम से दुख हो रहा है, अभी एकदम से गुस्सा आ रहा है, अभी एकदम. There are days that you feel the whole day was heavy, but not identifying with it would mean मन अपने स्वभाव में जो previous momentum है, whatever has been acquired, it remains in that momentum, but you are not identifying with it. You are remaining, you've identified with the observational capacity also that you have. It's a little, it needs practice. That's all that one can say. It gets lost with lack of practice. With regaining of the practice, it becomes that much easier and easier with more practice. Everyone has it. Every human being has it. There is no sinner or saint at the level of the capacity to observe. Everyone can just remain a neutral observer. Ramana says, when you remain a neutral observer to your thoughts, that is like inquiring the mind. Where has this mind come from? Means I have kept a prashna, a question, an inquiry, steady in my intention, that I want to know where is it coming from. ये वृत्ति कहाँ से आ रही है? 1 minute before I did not have this thought. 1 millisecond before, the thought is not there. When I am a neutral observer for a period of time, I can see the thoughts come and they go, they stay for some time, and they change their nature. They are constantly occupying my attention. Words are very essential. Thoughts are constantly engaging my attention. My attention is as if कर लिया है उसने, it's robbed. It has been kidnapped. My attention has got kidnapped by my senses, by my thoughts. कर लिया उसको. It has been robbed away. Means my attention is constantly kept attached to thoughts. Thoughts are obviously because of either the present sensory engagements or the past accumulated memories and impressions. They can be latent also, which can rise, and they can also result in thoughts. When I become one with the thought, then as the nature of the thought, so is my experience. If my thought suddenly, supposing I have seen a snake in a twilight area, in a dark corner of a room, a new house, and I don't know what there is, and suddenly I see like a figure of a snake, my body shudders. My mind feels a sense of fear. A fear erupts. The minute a fear erupts, that before I have even recognized, I have identified with an image that my mind projected. What did my mind project? It projected a snake. There was something there. I see a shadow. I am seeing something there. And the minute I see something there, I shudder. The body has already responded on the image that I have in the mind. This image had already been stored before. There are certain experiences that have given us fear. There are certain experiences that have given us joy. There are certain experiences that have ended in disturbances, fights, in arguments. The end nature of experience is what my mind concludes and stores it as an information, as if it is the actual reality. But the truth is that it was just an experience, and the experience was not conclusive ever. But the stored conclusion that I have of that experience, it surfaces the minute there is a similar situation. And when I see that coiled snake in a corner room, what are the factors that made that come up, that image come up, that mental impression rise? Factors are, I did not know. I do not know. I cannot see clearly. वहाँ पे क्या है? The biggest factor is my ignorance of what there is. That is the primary factor, in fact. Lack of light contributed to that ignorance. If there was adequate light, even if I had an impression, I could have clearly seen, is it a snake or not? But there was an additional factor which prevented the clarity of vision, and that was lack of light. So ignorance, lack of light, and there is something there. Some object is there which resembles something else, which gave me the fear. And so I do not know, should I be fearful of this or not? We are all in self-preservation in ignorance. Self-preservation is primary. Self-happiness is primary. So I do not know whether I need to be fearful of that object or not. So my mind instantly creates a strong force of reaction. Where did the force of reaction come from? A past experience I have accumulated, and I have kept it stored as if. The minute I see that, my body shuddered, and I said, डर लग रहा है, मुझे डर लग रहा है, बहुत डर लग रहा है. And my mind can go into any amount of reactions from there, each one our own, from panic button struck to anything, seeking help, running away, or there will be some people who will say, hold on, let me find, let me see, logic, reason, inquiry, is it true? Let me figure out, and then maybe my fear is helpful. If it is a snake, I need to do something, either run or find help, protect myself. But before I have known, is it snake or not, I need to stand objective to those thoughts. I need to stand a witness to those thoughts. I need to stand a neutral observer to the thoughts for my body to not shudder. That comes with practice. This, Ramana says, when I am adding for a period of time, keeping average all of us in mind, when you have remained in a observational mode of just saying, ye thought kahan se aaya? That fear, supposing, where did it come from? Just observe. Is it from the snake scene, apparent snake? Is it from outside? Fear is an inner sensation. Where does it come from before I give it a sense of reality? Focus. He says, remain observing with a quiet, silent, focused mind. And when your focus, attention is not taken away by senses, when your attention is not robbed away by other thoughts, you will realize that slowly the thoughts subside. The minute they come, if you do not pick them up, catch a thought, we did an exercise once. If you don't pick up the thought subsides by nature. It cannot hold itself for too long. Who holds the thought? I hold the thought. If I don't hold the thought, a previous momentum will bring up a thought, but if I don't hold it, what will happen? Common sense. Do we need a great Shastra to tell us what will happen if I don't hold a thought? Ramana tells us it will subside first. It will loosen its strength. Slowly, slowly, when you get into the practice of not holding the thought, that thought, he says the thought will disappear. It will lose its existence. It completely vanishes. Where has it vanished? He says it's destroyed. How is it destroyed? Because here the entire thought was easy to observe because I am still the observer, individual. So while that thought has got destroyed, I, the individual thought, being the neutral observer, is still alive, is still strong. I'm a form, I'm a name, I'm a body, I'm a shape, I'm a size, I'm a height, I'm an age, I'm a gender. All these adjuncts that I have are bound to come back or are bound to be, the others will rise. He says, continue observing all the thoughts. They fall back into I thought. They fall, patati, gir jate hain. They fall into the I thought. Remain an observer. When you continue to remain an attentive observer, focused on where they are coming, there has to be a focus, not a generalized. One of the meditations we do to sharpen our observational skills is just remain neutral. Don't identify with anything. Let any sound come, which means you don't have any specific focus. It's an expansion of the mind. Let anything happen. Let sound come, smell come, anything come. You do not hold it. You do not identify with it. Let it fall in your attention, and another thought will come, another perception will come. Place it. Sometimes there are two birds shouting, screaming, fighting. You see yesterday I saw 4 birds. Such deep conversation they seem to be having. I really felt I wish I knew their language because I wanted to participate. What are they talking? What are they? And they were loud. They were like, sometimes your neighbors fight very loudly. They fight and you are like, oh, can I please add some peace? The birds were so loud. hitting each other. I don't know what they were doing. My interpretation was they were eking each other. Now, the minute you have the rush of thoughts, when they are just focused, kept back, held back, not identified, you realize that they're all connected to your sense of I, individuality. All this, they're like those group of birds together, talking to each other, vaguely sometimes, one thought relating to another thought, sometimes unrelated, but they are all trying to get your attention. And they're successful in keeping our attention on them. But when you are just an inquirer, means you're not generalizing your observation. You are focused in your intent to see. General observation, but focused to see. From where is the I sensation that I know as I am this form, I am this name, this I from head to toe that I am. The I thought has sprung from where? Has emerged from where? Has arisen where? Ramana says now in these final verses, says the minute you realize that all the thoughts have fallen, mind is not even an entity, that even I falls back, subsides, subdues itself, that ahankara vritti, I am a form, I am a name, is called now ahankara, aham karna, ahankara, aham karna, constantly doing aham, constantly repeating aham, not repeating vocally, asserting, constantly asserting aham, the aham which I am not, that is ahankar. That ahankar, he says, also falls into its source, disappears, vanishes, patati, disintegrates. Like a wave of ahankar has risen with the birth of the body and assertion of the body as me, this wave is sustained every day by our habits, by our likes, by our dislikes, by our notions, by our seeking, by our identity, by our thoughts, by our everything is just strengthening that I notion, which every day by nature's gift falls off into sleep, laya, but every day rises again. That rising and falling of that I, from its source it rises. While it is risen, it is still remaining pure I, falls back, the ahankar falls back into the pure I, but my attention remains on ahankar. That ahankar also subdues, falls away. This he had said in these verses that we have concluded so far. And now he says that when this begins to subside, when this entire notion of I and the body and the senses begins to subside, you realize that it is asat. It is of the nature of not real. It is of the nature of na aham ekaha. I am tall, I am fair. My eye seems to be now with tallness, with fairness. Eye seems to be divided, as if is the right word. Because I am tall today with my age, when I come into late if ever, my height will shrink. I will not be the same tallness. I will shrink. I have shrunk, etc. He says this vigraha, which is of the nature of just indriya prana dhi tamaha, This body, which is an amalgamation of nothing but elements, of tattvas, indriya, also tattva, prana, breath, also tattva, e, buddhi, thoughts, tamaha, ignorance. All these, where my ahankar is now joining them as I, where they're all coming together in my perception, that perception is I, that I is ahankar, that is not the eka aham. Na aham eka sat. This is not that sat aham eka. Indeed, it is jada, is inert. Indeed, it is asat, not real, not pure existence. This I existence that I call as me, aham, this is not pure existence. This is conditioned existence, conditioned by my body, conditioned by my thinking, conditioned by my feelings, conditioned by my experiences, conditioned by my own conclusions. This is ahankara, na ekasat, is false. Then he further says, how do you know that this is false and that is real? Real I. He says, to know that real I, sense of knowledge, there cannot be another consciousness, there cannot be another knowledge, there cannot be another awareness, there cannot be another source of this knowledge of aham tat. मैं हूं का ज्ञान cannot come from another source. It cannot have another source. मैं हूं का ज्ञान is already in this aham self, where it has risen. There cannot be another consciousness illumines your existence. मैं हूं cannot be known by some other consciousness now. Isn't it common sense? The way he puts it, everything seems so commonsensical that I have a amazement, wonderment. How are we not able to look at it? How are we missing it? The way he puts it, it seems so simple and so clear, clean. The wonderment, how it still gets missed. How can there be another source to know existence? Tattaya hi chit, chittaya hi aham. That pure existence itself is pure consciousness. And pure consciousness itself is the source of this pure aham. Retrace it. Aham, ahankara, is only a pointer. When you remove all the adjuncts from it, this aham will fall into pure existence. And pure existence as I, pure I, that itself is pure knowledge. Chit. This kind of completes one layer of aham vichar, atma vichar. The whole prakriya, method of inquiry, you won't find it so easily given in anything. Even after studying Upanishads, you realize that Atma is talked about, Anatma is talked about, but that process of inquiry was left to an individual seeker because it is presumed that we have chitta shakti. It is presumed we have chitta ekagrata. So knowing the lakshana of Atma and knowing what is Anatma would have been adequate for a prepared mind. Upanishad takes it. But with the fall of time and our sensory plane existence and reality based on it, somewhere this bridge helps to ascertain, come closer to one's real nature. What is that? Inquiry on the source of aham. Ahankar first. That ahankar slowly falls into aham. That aham is nothing else but pure. There is no division there. There is no plurality there. Forget anything else. There is no division there. It's ekam. It is of the nature of pure existence. Now he comes to the second part of inquiry, because the totality is still seen and experienced. The minute aham falls, he says Isha also falls. Isha is an Ishvara. What in the beginning stages we took help of through upasanas, through karma yoga, everywhere we introduced Ishvara in the mind, because Ishvara was going to be that prick, that thorn which was going to remove the thorn already embedded. Ishvara was introduced in the Antakaranam to clean everything in the Antakaranam. Ragadvesh to clean, false ahankar to clean. To clean all this up was introduced Ishvara. But Ishvara itself is not a separate entity. It doesn't have a separate existence. It doesn't have a separate reality. Ishaha Jivayoho. Between Ishvara and Jiva, Abhida Vesha, or let me put it this way, Abhida Vesha, there is only the difference of external appearance. Isha is macrocosmic body, Jiva is a microcosmic body. Jiva is this small body, Ishvara is that Jagat body. The whole Jagat is Ishvara's body. That's why he said it in Ashtamurti Prit, the sun and the moon are the eyes. And in Vishwarupa Darshan of 11th chapter in the Gita, the whole Jagat is seen as one body of Vishnu. It's one form. It's macrocosmic body. What is the difference? It says the difference is only in that external vesture. This is limited, small entity, seen even from a larger space. If one goes to the space station and sees, you won't identify your parents here, your sisters, brothers, neighbors, friends, just about manage to see a house or just about a tiny object. But that's all. But where is the whole galaxy? Where is all these planetary bodies? Where are all the mountains and rivers? That, seeing them as Ishvara's body, the part of Upasana. I can see Ishvara manifest in Jagat. Jagat itself is Ishvara manifest. This is his body. I was separate from it. I have this small body. That division that I saw in Upasana, in Aham Vichara, through Eka Vichara, in Atma Vichara, says this division falls. The Upasana, Upasaka Bhed falls. Because Ishvara is not a separate, there is no separate thing other than what is this pure existence, pure consciousness. Isha Jiva Yoho, Desha Dhipita. There is the difference only in the external appearance. Both of them, in truth, in Vastu, in reality, Vastavik Drishti, in Vastu, in actual essential Drishti, Kevalam, it is only Sat Swabhavataha. It is of the nature of Sat, pure existence. In other words, if you've got the thought flow, it will be very conclusive that there is only one Sat in which Ishvara and Jiva are seen as two. And wherever Ishvara and Jiva are projected as two, the third, which is the Jagat, will be there. The minute you have projected the Aham There will be Ishvara and there will be Jagat. They will be projected further. So ahamkara is the projection on aham, pure sat. On aham means snake is a projection on the rope. Rope has to be there for me to see, mistake it as a snake, to misapprehend it as a snake. Without a rope, there is no snake seen. If there is no locus, you cannot see a snake there. A locus has to be there. A adhishthan has to be there. Adhikaranam has to be there. That adhikaranam, adhishthan, is pure, ekam, atma. That atma, from the totality standpoint, is Brahman. That alone is Sat. That alone is Chit. That alone is the source of this Ahankara I, Jivatma. That alone is the source of this Ahankara Atma I. This has no independent existence. Ahankar has no independent existence. Snake has no independent existence in the context of what I experienced as fear. If the snake is real, then my fear is real. It's okay to have it. But the great masters inquired, kept on inquiring till they reached the source, which is fearless. Are all my mental aberrations, are all my mental experiences real? They started questioning. They could go back and back and back into the source. At the source level, all the mental smallness disappeared. It vanished. It got destroyed. The minute it got destroyed, when I saw the source. The absence of seeing the source, they may diminish by the right values and right attitudes, but they are not destroyed. As long as the aham vichar doesn't happen, so long, I may be a more peaceful relatively person than another person, but at the level of ahankar, you and I are same. I have the notion of I am this form. I am a peaceful person, but I have this notion that I am born and I'll die. If someone else is more disturbed and agitated, also has the same notion, I will be born, I am born, I'll die. So there is ahankar is expressing in another way. Here ahankar may express in a slightly more quieter way, but ahankar wise it's the same. Ahankar gets destroyed only when there is an inquiry on aham, I. And when that happens, there's all that first part of the Prakriya, first few verses where we did Vasana and Karma, Ishvara has no existence separate from this. In other words, everything falls, the entire totality of Jagat and plurality and all experiences fall into source, which is free of every experience, which has no experience, is free of the word experience, Svatmani Avastha. That experience is of one. An experience to us by word means two. That why it can be misleading. Svatmani Avastha is Swabhava. That Swabhava cannot be translated as an experience. It's one's Swabhava. Ahankar is not the Swabhava. So Ahankar Vritti born, I am kind, I am so and so, and I am all that is ahankar born. That is not your real swabhav. Your real swabhav is free of all the ahankar notion, where everything dissolves. Then he says, Veshahanataha Svatmadarshanam. When all this external appearance is fallen, this is Atma Vichar. In Atma Vichar, when all these tertiary thoughts, territorial thoughts, when they have all fallen, then you get Atma Darshanam. This pure I reveals itself, is seen. It reveals itself doesn't mean now it's come out of hiding. It means that everything that was covering as if my egoistic notion was covering it as if it was being covered because my attention was on it. The minute I have learned to remove the attention from there, they have all got destroyed, fallen off. So what remains? That attention is of a pure nature. Swatmani darshanam. I get the darshan of my own self. It springs as if now having a darshan. Isha darshanam swatma rupataha. That itself is also the vision of Ishvara's nature, is also seen as one's inherent nature. Both Jiva and Ishvara, their nature has got merged as if into Atma Darshan. That Atma Darshan, Atma Samsthiti, Atma Darshanam, Atma Nirdvayat, Atma Nishtata. Once you abided in that Atma Samsthiti, once there is abidance in your own nature of who you are, that is one's own darshan. So he's used Swatma Darshanam twice. This is what happens when you read again and again. Things that you miss out before, and you pick up clearly. He's used the word, I almost was checking if I made a mistake. Use the word Swatma Darshanam in both verses 25 and 26. Atma Samsthiti, first he says in 25th verse, Veshahanataha Swatma Darshanam. When the external appearances are gone, projections are gone, and what are external now? I am a body, I am these thoughts, I am this form, I am this color, I am this gender. All this has fallen off from your attention. They've fallen off from attention. That was Swatma Darshanam. Says that Swatma Darshanam is Atma Samsthiti, abiding in one's own nature. Atma Nirdvayat. Dvaya, Dvait, Nirdvait. Free of duality. This Atma Samsthiti itself is Atma which is free of duality. And that Atma Samsthiti is Atma Nishtata, being established in your own true nature. For example, bringing it to a relative context, the minute I wake up from sleep, before I have woken up, I had a sleep, I had a dream. In my sleep, I was not aware that I am sleeping, is not my experience. In my dream, I don't have the experience, I am dreaming. I am dreaming has only come in the waking state. I dreamt, not even I am dreaming. I dreamt. It's always a past tense. The minute I have woken up, you can call it in this context, waking sthiti, Atma sthiti. Waking state has now become steady in a context of a day. The minute I have woken up, my dream and sleep have wound up. गायब हो गए. Mark the words. I don't know if I'll ever be able to repeat it like this. My dream and my sleep गायब हो गए. Disappeared. What had happened, he said, when you start inquiring on I, mind, thoughts will disappear. So in my waking state, what has happened is waking and dream, when I woke up, waking and dream disappeared. I had to do nothing. And waking got established. This is called Vekanishtata, Jagranishtata, supposing I say. Jagrati, in my wakefulness, Nishtata. I have got Nishtha. Is there an effort to remain awake? Yeah, mostly, sometimes. But just limitation of the example. My wakeful state is a natural state. I woke up and that's natural. इसको मुझे कुछ करना नहीं पड़ता है. It's a natural state. Vedanta says this can be the culminative lesson. Vedanta says your nature, that your Atman is a natural state. But when do you recognize it? When you have removed all these conditions that are expressing in the waking state associated with ahankar. When you've falsified them, you've seen their falsity. When you've seen through their falsity. When you've seen through their shortcoming. When you have seen through their temporariness. When you see through their mithyatva. That's why they are mithya. When you've seen through them, there's that Atmanishtata is a natural state. Dream state, I'm making a parallel again, repeating because it's so important. I just said, Anugraha, I don't know if I can ever repeat this. Dream state, I dreamt a tiger chasing me. I was running in the woods. I was so fearful and I could see nobody at all. I was falling and I was thirsty and I was and I was praying, Hey Bhagwan, you are my savior, save me, save me. Only you can bring about a miracle. This tiger is a hungry tiger. Ye to mujhe kha ke hi chhodega. It's a hungry tiger. It's chasing, it's faster, it's stronger than I am. It's faster than I am. I am not going to be able to outrun it. And at some point, I'm so helpless that I just plead to Bhagwan. That's my only source of miracle left. Where else is a miracle going to come from? Because there's nobody around me. From where will someone come who's going to save me from this tiger? Else I have to be offering myself to the tiger, Swaha. Let the tiger consume me, Swaha. I'll do a. But no, my dream, I was running and I was scared and I was aspiring and I was tired. I was exhausted and I could hear the growl. It was so real. And then I prayed and I prayed and I prayed because that's my only thing left. Sure enough, miracle happened. What was the miracle? Woke up. Sure enough, a miracle happened. I woke up. And when I woke up, examine this carefully. Tiger disappeared. Me, the one who was scared and tired and exhausted and couldn't find a way out, also disappeared. They both disappeared. And the Bhagwan that I prayed to in my dream also disappeared. But all the three, thanks to Bhagwan's prayer, heard. What worked? All three together disappeared the minute I came into my waking avastha. Exactly the same parallel. Just as in a dream, it is impossible to tell a person, listen, wake up, सब गायब, कोई कुछ नहीं है, ये सब फॉल्स है, ये डर बेकार का है, ये भय बेकार का है, थके वके कुछ नहीं हो, तो सब फर्स्ट क्लास है, उठ जाओ. And you'll find yourself in a comfortable bed with your water around you, and I'm sure all of you have no work. Most of us have no work to do in life. Most of us have, even if we are working, I'm sorry, what I mean to say is, even if we are working, we have provisions. We cannot say we don't have provisions. We have provisions. Even if we are working, most of us are working out of choice. We're not working out of that. If I don't work today, I won't get my bread today. My survival is not based on my work. I'm working out of choice. In my dream, if someone were to come and shake me and wake me, what are the chances I will listen to that person in the dream? As I was running, chasing, I said, Bhagwan, help me. And right there came a roaring voice. There is no tiger chasing you. Natma. It's false. It's mithya. And you are constantly feeling the pang of fear. And you're scared. If you only listen to that voice, the tiger may eat you. Who knows? Because to you, it is so real. It will have to be based entirely on how you believe those words. Someone's telling you in your dream, there is no tiger, there is no you. Where is the tiger is come after you came. If you are only not there, where is the tiger? You only are an imaginary entity. If you are an imaginary entity, your entire existence is imaginary in dream. It has an adhishtan on you, the one who was dreaming. The one who was dreaming. Was it the waker? Was it the waker who was dreaming? The waker is also dreamt. That is Atmanishtata. So all the Shastra and all this Guru Parampara, Advaita especially, and all our entire Vedic lineage, why Vedas are so essential human beings. Because it is only these that are sounds in the dream that urge people to wake up. Once you wake up, you will realize there never was anything here to fear. There was never here anything other than the real. Who's projected yourself as the individual in the world and Bhagwan. And so the Parampara, Shastra, here in particular Vedanta Parampara, so the one that the teachers like Ramana, Shankara, these teachers become so important because they are the ones who are constantly in the torch knowledge that whoever will have faith in them will attempt at least. अगर मुझे सांप से डरना नहीं है और मुझे कोई कह रहा है कि ये सांप नहीं है, रस्सी है, और मुझे डरने का बंद करना है कभी तो मुझे कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा. या मैं भाग जाऊंगी उस जगह से, else what is my other choice? You will go and examine it. हम सब क्या करते हैं? पहले भागते हैं. Rarely there will be a person who will say, believe the word, I believe the word, I believe, let me go and find it. Not that straight away you will start to see it as a rope, because the journey between the knowledge and Atmanishta is what is here. अगर हमारे वृत्ति ही जिंदा है as real, जब तक ये वृत्ति as real जिंदा है, तब तक you cannot expect आत्मनिष्ठता. जब तक ये जागृत हमारा real है, so that parallel example is what one can hopefully digest and be able to. So 26th verse we finish. Tomorrow we'll do verse, because now he's concluding. So 24th, 25th verse is actually like a Mahavakya that Ishvara is this. They both are Brahman, one source. That is the parallel drawn 24th and 25th, that there is no separation. Now he begins to now kind of wind it up. The 27th verse will say, kind of a concluding the text. The teaching, I would rather say, it's not a text. It is like a pravachan. It is like a pravachan. Vachan is bola hua. Pravachan is shuddha, clear bola hua. In English, when we say teaching and all that, it becomes like knowledge acquired. This is pure passion, this pure anugraha that Ramana discovered his being. Ramana was there, written words, bridge that gap, because it was in that life that he bridged it. And we thank his disciples in this context. Tuganar asked him like this. Otherwise, however much, if we don't have this guidance, it can take many, many years and janmas probably to digest the Upanishadic knowledge. Because that is why you say Vedanta is to be learned. A lot of anugraha to have the one who has the entire digestion of the knowledge. But every step is better than, they're all helping. So with this, we'll end the class today. We will continue tomorrow. आप राजेंद्र जी आप करेंगे कंटिन्यू? आपका माइक म्यूट है.
ओम सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां कलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति. पालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषा, गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं, लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः, पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भया ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Deepji, thank you very much. Pranam.
No question?
No question, Deepti but the last part was, that parallel was, how, like, not only is the tiger or the snake unreal, but also the person who's running is also unreal. That's the best part.
Yes. That is the ahankar, I. Yeah. Absolutely correct. Got it.
तो अपने आप को ये नहीं याद कराना कि ये सब अनरियल है, ये याद कराना कि ये भी अनरियल है.
So actually, Deepti ji, whatever ups and downs that we go through in life, this is all unreal, right? Nothing is, I mean, now we are able to figure out nothing will be constant for sure. If there is an up, there will be a down. If there is a down, there'll be an up. But
Yes.
until unless we don't go into Atma Vichar, there is no freedom, isn't it?
Absolutely. So the rest of it then will be maintaining whatever you can maintain as a healthy life, healthy as in mind and body, whatever you can maintain as what contributes to peace. What can contribute to peace as long as you keep your ahankar?
And plus, being neutral in your thoughts is so difficult because mind
Correct.
is so smart that it will take you away.
Exactly. So that is why being neutral would mean you're raga dvesha, free from raga dvesha.
Even
So
if you take that small step, I think
yes,
you are.
absolutely. So what can actually give you relative peace as long as the ahankar is there? What should give you peace? What should give you happiness? Where will you find the happiness from then?
Because now even I notice when you wake up, there are such flood of thoughts waiting for you. This needs to be done, that needs to be tackled, this needs to be like, it's so difficult to just tell your mind that please, for once, just don't say anything.
It's absolutely.
But Deepti, the answer to your question is Ishvara. What gives you relative peace is Ishvara and your Karma Yoga and your other practices, and then that is what will eventually make
Dharmo
you.
rakshati rakshataha. Just abiding in the values as much as one can, to the extent one will, to that an extent there will be peace. The fact that I look for happiness outside is always going to be is an expectation that will never get fulfilled. So the sooner one comes to terms with this natural expectation out of ignorance, at least now after today's class, we will understand this very, very clearly. That till Atma Vichar is not our journey, till then there'll be a lot of things that in the world should just be taken as they are. And we do what we can as the best we can. That itself, asking for anything over here would mean very meaningless because it cannot be there.
I think there was one line that you had said that stayed with me. If something, I mean, there are millions of things that can go wrong. So you should be thankful for things which are right for you.
Right. And stick to that. Shift the attention there.
Yeah, I do. And it helps a lot. It
Yeah.
helps a lot.
Yes. So we'll end the class and thank you.
Deepti, now I can begin to see why you did Tattva Bodha and now you're doing Upadesa Sara one after the other. How Tattva Bodha helps us, how that Chit Shuddhi helps us do our karma and do our various practices, um, and then move to they're really in logical progression because I used to think ki, that is a Vedic text and this is been given by Ramana as a master, but it's not a Vedic text. Then how come they are so much in line? But they are This is they're really in line with each other. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know, in fact, um, yeah, that is the reason why. See, if we don't do this the way we are doing now, then supposing you go straight to Bhagavad Gita, as most of the people today are interested in, because they think, but if your whole approach towards the Gita from the beginning is not set, you will learn something or the other in a general way, no doubt, because the knowledge is knowledge. But how, like now, this is your conclusion that you can see how they are a progression. I didn't teach you this, I just said it, but you had to see it. Now you see it, so you realize that after this, when it is done, the learning of Gita is it's a spiritual text. It's not a text that increases your efficiency or manner. All these are byproducts. अब उसके बाद, supposing you start Karma Yoga chapter and you do not know what is Karma, now you have to start off again. But here now all the fundamentals are set between these two texts. Everything is set, including say Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga. Ramana has helped us bring, which won't come otherwise in a part of a Vedantic study. That you make your life a spiritual pursuit. And what are your aids for making it spiritual? आपके साधन क्या है आपके पास? Supposing I, as a young person, wanted to live a spiritual life, till now I was only struggling to, what is the Shastra saying is our sadhan? कोई कुछ कहता है, कोई कुछ कहता है, कोई कुछ कहता है. You know, so half the life goes away trying to figure out ये है कि ये है कि ये, and they're all contradictory to each other. So you needed so much a text which would have told you there is a sequence of it. According to your capacity, what is to be picked up? And they will all bring you to that point if you do those correctly. And that makes a huge difference to one's. Later on, everything becomes like after this text, supposing, I am not sure what we will do if we once you finish this text, once again, it's a fresh call. We'll see what goes after that. But thank you. I hope you all glad we are all learning so well. And
दीप्ति जी, मुझे
I
लगता है ये
definitely will give a little pause and a break, because I don't know what text I'll start. Not this year Gita for sure. The idea will be that you digest the two texts, bring it into your life habit. All of us struggle. See, it's so easy to know, but there are things that Chitta Shuddhi would need, that they don't need knowledge to know. It's almost like saying I have a guide map which tells me, I have learned a guide map which tells me how to go to Gangotri. But learning that guide map is not taking me to Gangotri. So while Vedanta is at the last step, and today I'm sure we have all understood it so clearly now, Atma Vichar is the final and the direct means. Till then, there is no respite of this samsara. Can have a respite in terms of abiding in values, abiding in dharma. That can give us some respite, definitely. But if you want absolute respite, then Atma Vichar is the only way. Which means, if I have the guide map, then there are so many things, everyday life. That's why knowledge should truly be taken in the dose in which you can digest. Hara Atma Gyan leke, ultimately it is your life. You have to bring this into your Chitta Shuddhi has to happen. Chitta Ekagrata has to come. Atma Vichar has to be brought into habit. For which all these are aids which are, they take time to establish because we've all got different habits. That is why in those days, Gurukuls were formed, ashrams were formed, like-minded people got together that they will help each other towards that path. But for whatever reason, it still always will be an individual journey. Okay, thank you everyone. आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
हाँ नहीं, मुझे लगा ये दोनों बेसिक टेक्स्ट बुक्स हैं, तत्वबोध और उपदेश सार. These are to proceed further, ये दोनों
बिल्कुल
These are
प्रकरण क्रम ही है ये दोनों.
stepping stones. These are. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Pranam.
Ji.
Pranam.
Last now. Till tomorrow.